A nullsec day trip in your Proteus, hacking, scanning combat sites, some PvP, and more in this video. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. Loru here, digital advertiser, content creator, and even enjoyer for the better part of 10 years now. And this is the fit. It's the improved fit. We have a couple modifications after we learned some things going into nullsec. We're going to show you all the tips, all the tricks right now, okay? Let's start with the fit immediately because a bunch of people were asking this when we were live. Here it do be. We have a drone-focused Proteus. Let me get rid of this so I can make it look nice and flush with the window there. Okay, let's start with the highs, all right? We've got the 5 Railgun 200 Tech 2s. Say that 5 times fast. We've got all the ammo here for you. We got some javelin, some spikes, some antimatter. Those are the 3 that you're going to take. We'll talk more about that later, just FYI. We do have a covert ops cloak. This is one of the reasons why we flew the Proteus into null to do these things, because it is slippery. You can fit the covert ops cloak. It literally saved our life when we were in there. We were able to get away from entire corporations that were following us, hunting us, scanning us, because we have covert ops cloak. We were able to get our loot and leave and not be bothered. This is a Sisters expanded probe launcher with combat probes. Yes, we had a small amount of ganking. If there was some low-hanging fruit, I was gonna take it. This lets you scan down sites, but also ships. So you don't need the sister core, whatever combat probes. You can just have the expanded ones and make sure you can just get the data sites and scannable combat sites with that. So you don't need the big one. I just like this because maybe there was a ship I could hunt down. I am not opposed to a little bit of hunting. Let's keep on going. Okay. The mids, I hate the Afterburner, but we have to do it. The CPU is 0.9 right now. I would much rather have an MJD, not an AB. Those on the live know. This takes you to about 500. It's okay. I'd much rather have the MJD, but I couldn't get it to fit with the CPU and power grid of the other stuff, so go from there, right? We got a Thukker cap battery. This is the one you use if you need to save on some CPU and or power grid. I think it's, I remember exactly which one, but this is the one that gives you a bunch of cap while not using as much of your base CPU power grid, so that's why that one, okay? We got an omnidirectional tracking link. This is to help your drones hit stuff with the tracking speed script. You can use just without the charge. I like to keep the charge on there just to really maximize the chance of the drones getting those smashing hits, those wrecking hits, all that jazz. We do have a 2 active tank, 2 medium repair 2s. You can use an ancillary, whatever it is, repairer here, but then you have to also spend money on the nanite paste, and I just like to be able to run these and not worry about it. This is a cap stable fit with everything on, even with this and the Afterburner. You don't need, again, to be cap stable, but because of how we got into nullsec, it's going to be a random thing. We are using the needle jack filament. We want to be cap stable because we don't know exactly what we're going to be facing. We want to be able to hit a wide variety of things, and if there's newts or not newts, we're still good to go. Okay, so 2 active armor reps there. We do have the reactive armor hardener instead of the damage control. This was primarily because it fits with our CPU and power grid, and because this is the better one, in my opinion, the better armor skills you have. I like this again because it lets us plan for everything and not necessarily be specialized, okay? Kind of in that same vein of thinking, we do have a multi-spectrum energy membrane. This is going to, again, just across the board, give us more tank. Nothing else needs to be said there. 2, count them, 2 drone damage amplifier 2s. Not as blingy of a fit if you've seen some of our recent videos. Yes, because we were going into nullsec for the first time in a long time, I'm a bit of a care bear. I will not apologize. This was about the adventure, okay? I expected to die. Here's our tip for you. Don't fly a ship you're not able to lose, monetarily speaking. I have a bunch of better modules. We put these in there just to call it a day, okay? Plenty of damage, plenty of DPS. Our drone hit squad is wasps. We have wasps coming with us. We do 800 and change DPS with our guns. The drones do 600 of that. The lion's share, they do plenty of damage. Okay. Our rigs are armor focused. Trimark armor pump, auxiliary nano pump, auxiliary nano pump. The nano pumps make it so the armor reps do more for every cycle. This was necessary on some of the ones that we did when we started doing level 3 and then 1 level 4 combat site. And the Trimark armor pump is going to just give you a raw amount of plus armor, 20% more armor, 20% more HP. That's great because the buffer is kind of small on these cruisers. You know, you want a little bit more to play with. Okay. Finally, we got the Proteus subsystems. We got the hyperspatial, drone-focused, covert-focused, fusion reactor. Nothing surprising here. This, in roughly speaking, this one makes you better cap, This one lets you fit the covert ops stuff. There's more to it than that, but that's fine. The drone one does drone stuff. This one was the one that was more up in the air. I prefer the plus agility and the plus velocity because since we didn't know where we were going to be in nullsec, you need to be able to travel around, and that's a time saver to me. So of the other two, I pick the hyperspatial optimization. Okay, now that we talked about the fit, let's talk about the drones. The drones are very simply a bunch of wasps, a single hornet, 2 reppers, and some dunk salvage drones. Okay, you want to bring the dunk salvage drones or the highest tech salvage drone you can, because you're going to be going to salvage a bunch of things if that is the case, if salvage is good to go. We happen to pop into some rogue drone areas where the battleship at the end of these combat sites will give you salvage worth some tens of millions. We got 20 million off of a single salvage, right? The rest of it was just whatever. Pennies, but the battleship was great. Okay, this Hornet EC300, if you see my other videos, just anti-gank, just in case. It's just a filler. We had 5 left. You might as well throw this in. This lets you buy some time if you're getting ganked by somebody, and hey, we're going into null, plan for the worst, expect the best. These 2 are armor and hull rep bots. They're slow with my current skills. They're primarily used to heal up our drones. We actually damaged a bunch of our drones in our outings, and this let us heal them up so that they weren't killed later and didn't just automatically become dead drones. You know how it goes. You're flying a drone boat, one of them goes down to hull. It may get some shield back while it's in your drone bay, but you're still not going to use it because you're going to lose it because it's so close to death. This let us take a break, let us go into space, uncloak, target. You pop your drone into space, your wasp, then you target it and you start healing it with those drones. Okay, talk about the inventory. You really do have to be completely set up for this kind of activity because you need to plan for everything because of how we're going to do this. We're going to take antimatter, javelin, and spike. Javelin, close range, antimatter, medium range, spike, far range. We did not bring spike ammo with us when I went, and I wish I did, because spike ammo primarily is going to be used to pull things to you. Fall off range of 61, we can target out to 87. Stuff's far away, you can poke it once, let it taxi to you, and then load your antimatter ammo. I don't necessarily recommend bringing more spike ammo. I think just 1,000 of it, maybe even less, simply for pulling was enough, because the bulk of your damage is going to come from your drones. You don't need to necessarily waste the cargo space with the ammo. I bring about 6,000-ish. I brought 8,500. Javelin and antimatter was way too much. I didn't even come close to using that much. I used maybe 2,000 or 3,000 ammo throughout my trip. So you just need these. That's good enough. Bring some nanite repair paste with you, even if you don't use the ancillary mod. We've talked about this in past videos. Sub for the value. Let's get you in. You'll get more tips like this, okay? When you're in space and something is damaged because of overheating, you can use nanite repair paste, again, in space, to repair an overheated damage module. All right. And before we go any further, you're a decent ways away into a Loru Earth gaming video. Thank you very much for 1,800 subscribes. We're about to hit 19 as of the recording of this video, so we are growing. The recent live stream was incredible. Sub to the channel. That's all I have to say. Back to the video. We got our probes, easy enough. A mobile depot, you need to refit for the other stuff that's coming. Bring a mobile depot with you. Bring some like drugs with you, some like boosters, okay? The standard exile is your like standard oh shit button. We actually brought a bunch of stuff with us. I also recommend you bring the hard shell, because this is, and find the one that you can afford. These are the ones that are going to increase your armor rep amounts, or if you're a shield amounts. Okay, finally we got the refits. We got data and relic analyzers. They only take up 5. I don't necessarily recommend bringing the ligature analyzer, the one that does both relic and data sites in one. You don't really need to spend that much money on this, because they're way more expensive. They're like 100 million versus this is only 1 million. I would, in fact, while you're doing that, fit a warp scram 2 in there in case somebody's bothering you. The final piece of gear we have to talk about before we dive into some tips and show off some stream footage is the expanded cargo holder. Bring one of these with you. You've seen this in many of our recent videos. This takes up 5 M3 of cargo space, so not very much. And if you find yourself very, very full, again, we only have 470 cargo space. That's not that much. If you're coming back and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to use my mobile depot, time to refit, we go from 470 to 600, okay? You get 50%-ish more cargo space by keeping 5 M3 in your bay for when you need it. I highly recommend this. So that's the fit. I know that was a bit longer of an explanation, but because this is a day trip, you really got to plan for stuff. Let's show off some clips right now. All right, we're in space. This is actually a clip from the recent live stream when we're in nullsec right now. That's why some of the fields are blurry, because we do this live. We like to blur some information to discourage ganking. We're in this rogue drone area of space, and as you can see, we're orbiting some of these battleships using our tracking computer, our Afterburner, to make sure that we're hitting stuff and hard to hit. We're making sure we're in range before we use our guns. Our antimatter goes out to about 26. Your Javelin does have the fastest tracking speed. So all those frigates, all those things that are really zipping around, you want to make sure you're using your Javelin when you're fighting those. Since we are cap stable, we have both our armor reps and our reactive armor hardener just on. Even though we're wasting cap, we're cap stable. Nothing here is new to me. No problems. We are staggering our health items though. You're going to notice one of our armor reps gets to about half, and then the other one starts. This is when you want to do it. You want to have armor rep 1 start, go to half, then start the second one. This is going to reduce overhealing and make sure that you get this really consistent heal train coming in. All right. You're going to notice while we're doing this, we're absolutely pulsing our D-scan, and you don't see it because my face is covering the face that it was in this clip, but I am constantly looking at local, trying to be sure, is somebody there? Is somebody new in the system that I don't recognize? And then prioritize the other stuff from there. Okay. We have a bunch of signatures here as well. We even scan down a gas site. This is just the general how to use the in combat on space stuff. You can also use your scanners to find hacking sites. This is not a guide for how to hack. You can check our other videos for that. Well, that's the video, everybody. Your guide to your Proteus nullsec adventure. There's going to be some EVE content popping up on the screen in just a moment. If you're enjoying, make sure you sub to the channel. Thank you very much again for 1,800 subscribes. We did it. We're very close to 19, and I think by the time this video comes out, we're gonna hit it. Make sure you sub, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks very much.